Hello, and this is a song with Lucinda Moore that I co-wrote with her, produced and mixed as well. Just gonna kind of show you some of the breakdown of uh, the way that I approach the production of it as well. Um, in the way that the way that she actually presented the song to me, she she sang the song to me, and the song is part of a testimony. And so in thinking of constructing the song, I wanted to kind of go for almost a nostalgic sound, if you will, but that being more of a modern classic sound, if that makes sense. So, if anyone is familiar with the song, that would explain the reason why the song kind of has that big old. I don't necessarily want to say analog sound, but it's kind of big and wide. Um, that's what I was going for. So, um, just to listen at some of it right quick, and then I'll just kind of break it down.
There is a sound I hear so clear. Lord, yes, a sound ringing in my ear. Lord, yes,
So, in that, if you notice, the way that I approach this production, even though the song Gridlock has a tempo here, but if you listen closely to some of the instrumentation, you'll notice that they kind of drag a little bit behind the beat. So I wanted to take that approach as well, not only just for the feel of it, but just kind of thinking ahead as well as it relates to the depth of the way that I wanted to uh, um, capture the sonics of the record. So in that, you're here with the drums, and shout out to my son CJ Thompson. This is I had him to grab an old thick. I think it might have been a Ludwig, an old 60. I think it was a 65 Ludwig snare. So to be able to capture what I wanted with heavily pillow kick as well. So his part is pretty much self-explanatory. Bass, CJ Mercer here, and I'm getting snares from somewhere else. I'm sorry here. And I wanted him to have that old sound in there as well. More so if he's playing a Fender going into an Ampeg. So that was the approach there.
yes, a sound.
Along with that, if you listen to any one of my productions, I've had many people always tell me I love claps. So on especially if it's past a ballad, you can guarantee I'm gonna have claps in my production. Hear it or not, I'm gonna have claps in my production, and that was from my inspiration of Roger Troutman. I grew up listening to a lot of Roger Troutman music as well, and I just always gravitated to his claps. So so with that, to also give it that grit, I included a sample kick along with some stomps here as well, just to kind of add some of that grit on the bottom if it's coming across there. And then going into the claps here, I'm always have claps. And normally what I do with my claps as well is I normally I've already committed these tracks, but before I would normally add a mod delay on one of the claps, and sometimes I may even select the same claps and duplicate that, or either just stack claps on top of each other as well. And at least on one or two of those tracks, I'll add a mod delay, you know, just to give it a bit more depth and width as well. So that's my approach to my claps there. And then later on, to add some more movement to the groove, I added a shaker loop here. Let's solo there here. And as a matter of fact, I think that sound comes from the pack of one of Loop Elements. So shout out to John Mike at Gospel Producers. Get the pack, y'all. And piano here is normally when I start my productions, I start them differently. Sometimes I may start with a loop or so, and sometimes I'll get inspired from that, you know, and sometimes I'll just bring up a click and may just start with the piano. But here, I added piano, but I started with the Rhodes here. And I added piano later to that. Now to also, I didn't want a lot of colors as it relates to keys, you know, aux keys or whatnot. So I added a synth, but the synth is basically it's almost like a layer on top of what I'm already doing with the block chords, and I wanted to add that, you know, again, to add a little more roundness to the track, and you hear that addition here. And that was something that I actually I pulled up in Rolling Cloud has a element called Xenology Pro. So that was a patch that I tweaked from there. And I have organ. So in this particular song, I didn't necessarily do a whole lot as it relates to progressions in the whole nine. I wanted to keep it simple, but I wanted to make sure again that it was big. So the way I approached it was a lot of block chords, but just made sure, you know, I had the right elements of sounds, you know, that complemented each other there. And later on, to add a little more attack, I later added a CP80 in this section here, which you're hearing.
It's a sound in the atmosphere.
Now, so the song has already started, but
Sound I
I didn't.
so clear.
I didn't add the CP80 until later here in this section here, and I did that just to add a little more attack here. Release is kind of short as well. And you hear it's moving the same with the piano and the Rhodes. Along with the synth. Even though they're all doing the same thing, you know, I recorded them, of course, separately as well, but just wanted to add that dimension. The organ here. Now, so I did this actually during the, I think we were actually coming out of the pandemic. So I didn't have, I did it at my home, and I didn't have the organ at the house here. So I had to pull up a plug-in, and you'll see that there are two organs here. Okay, that's a goo. One is from the actual plugin from Pro Tools. I think they call it the B3 something. But that particular one is from DB33, is that one, and the other one, the one that has a little more grit, is Hammond B3X. So they're both doing the same thing as well, but I just wanted to have one that have a little more top end color to it, the other one to add a little more girth as well. So again, my approach to this particular song was going after grit, you know, more than getting the oohs and ahs from, you know, everybody. I was going after the sonics of what I heard here.
I'm excited to reveal something game-changing for us and for you as producers and musicians. I want to introduce to you Peculiar Sounds version 2. We've introduced standalone mode, allowing you to use it independently from any DAW. You can now blend up to 2 sounds to create rich and complex textures. We added in 2 brand new effects, the Lo-Fizer and the Mod Filter. The Lo-Fizer gives you instant lo-fi vibes with just a button, while the Mod Filter adds dynamic movement and flow to any sound you apply to. And we also added the innovative new MIDI browser that provides you with hundreds of chord progressions, melodies, and drum loop MIDI files that you can drag straight into your DAW. And as a bonus, V2 now includes Sounds Off the Block expansion for totally free, bringing the total to over 400 patches. So as you can see, Peculiar Sounds V2 is not just an update, it's a revolutionary new plugin. So make sure you check the website right now and you can get your hands on this game-changing plugin.
And to add a little color in some of the transitions, and also start off, I added some swells here, pad wise, to be able to introduce the song. So in my productions, I'm always about melody as well. So even so in this intro, I have 2 different instrumentations actually doing the same melody. You'll notice here I have a lead synth. And if you could tell, one is like kind of like a sine saw or so, and the other one is a little more warmer. So what I did, I took two different lead synths together, and I just committed to now one to that particular point. Don't be afraid to commit, your sounds. I'm also thinking about doing this challenge to producers and musicians of creating and being limited to just 24 tracks. And I want to do that because I grew up and I started in the era where we were on tape, so I had to commit. So now we have limitless amount of tracks. So I mean, you could just keep adding sounds, but back in the day, we had to actually commit to it. So I'm getting ready to bring up a challenge. So don't steal it. Bless your hearts. There's another just a synth there, just to add a little accents to the groove there as well. So I had a little fake guitar when I was doing the actual reference. And as we kept getting further into the production, I wanted to kind of keep it just to add a little more movement to the groove as well, which is this. And again, that's just to add a little more movement to the groove, to kind of help what's happening inside of the groove, be able to keep a consistent movement happening. On guitars here, so I reached out to my good friend Rick Wofford and had him to lace the guitar tracks for me. And of course, Rick is a phenomenal player, and I knew, whatever he was gonna render back to me was gonna be awesome. So if you remember, at the top of the intro was the synth that I led into the song with. So I had it actually when Rick sent me his guitars, I wanted him to. It was an afterthought. I wanted to add just a little more dimension to that. I didn't want to do it, so I wanted it to come from another color. So I had Rick to actually add to sing along with that as well, which is. Rick Wofford, bad dude, and this is another one of his guitars. I just pull them all up. So one of the reasons why also I go to a guy like a Rick Wofford. There are some other guys that I use as well, but one of my reasons, for using certain people on guitars is number one, heart. I love to hear, the heart being displayed in that, but not just that as well. But I've had, some guitar players. Sometimes in a session, they're not necessarily paying attention to the chords, So someone like a Rick, Joey Woolfolk, David Bell, or Lawrence Jones. There are many other guitar players out there. When you get tracks from them, they accompany, exactly what it is that's needed for the song up against what you're doing as well. And most importantly, though, they're paying attention to the chords that you're playing, So if you're playing either a diminished fifth or whatever it is, they match that as well. So you don't get like a diminished fifth and then they playing like an odd nine up against it, and you have chaotic moments. So it's Rick Wofford on guitar, and of course I have the old classic hits here, just to help with accents. And again, that came from Xenology. from rolling. Lucinda, her vocal here.
There is
So Lucinda, you're here, and she's probably going to get me for this too as well. But you're going to hear. So I think we did these over the course of maybe 1 or 2 days because I had her to come back and redo some of the vocals. But working on her music, we always get into it because Lucinda likes to have her headphones blazing. So there's going to be some points in here. You're going to hear headphones as though there's a speaker sitting right beside her. Check it out.
there is a sound I hear so clear. Lord,
Okay.
a sound ringing in my ear. Lord, it's a sound in the atmosphere.
So I had to filter a lot of that out, of course, but that's Lucinda's take. And the way that I approach the vocals on here as well. So I did this actually with all of her songs. I had her to sing the BGV parts as well. And what I would do is I took I made a sub of each one of her parts, like her soprano parts. I had her to stack those a couple of times. And I made a sub of that, made a sub of her alto parts, sub of her tenor parts, which are these. Okay. And then I later went and then added on top of that, and in here I had my wife Lejeune and another singer, Sharia Crouch, to sing on top of that. And these are, let me bring up their vocals here. These are their vocals. And along with Lucinda. Okay. All right. So that was basically my vocal approach, and I wanted for this particular song just all female vocals, and more so, to complement Lucinda's vocals as well, and Sharia and Lejeune, they were able to match her as well. I didn't want any male presence on it, more so because I didn't want the heaviness of that as it relates to the vocals, even though I wanted the track itself to be to hold a lot of grit, but from the vocal aspect of it, I didn't want any heaviness or that color of a male vocal, and for them to cut through. So if you're familiar with the song again, you'll notice that their vocals cut through the mix pretty well, and but I always like to mix my vocals pretty hot. And lastly, one thing that I also do as well to help thicken vocals from a instrumentation point of view is I pick synths that plays along with those vocals as well. So you'll notice that here.
Yes, I hear your voice, Lord.
All right, so that's my take on the production of the song "Lord, I Hear You." Nothing complex, and to me, I think most oft the simple things makes things much bigger as well. You know, so again, you'll notice that I didn't approach this song with a lot of colors as it relates to progressions or the whole nine. I wanted to keep it simple, but yet present and big as well. All right.
Y'all, want to thank you for making it to the end of this clip. We appreciate you watching this breakdown. If you want to see more videos like this, please feel free to check out the links right over here. If you want to take your production, mixing, or whatever to the next level, or check out some of the other products that we have, make sure you check the links down in the description and in the comment section of this video. All right. I appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace.